Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles, my elders in Great Millstone, who well. Peace and mercy to the Tazadak Akim out there that's laboring this truth with all sincerity. I want to say Shalom. All right, and this is a quick topic through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You know, something I've been pondering on at work, and I want to do a quick lesson on it. All right, through the spirit. So this is we're going to go into Ecclesiastes 7:7. All right, so it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. All right, now, and it says, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Now, you know what inspired me to do this lesson is just realizing the oppression being here, just simply at work. All right, no matter what you do, you could be getting fair wages. You know, it's just about the oppression part, you know, that can make a wise man angry. Now, I want to go into the word oppression. It means cruel or unjust use of power or authority. All right, pressing down. So that's exactly what these jobs do. They use cruel or unjust use of power. For an example, right? You know, I have a particular route, you know, that, you know, I'm accustomed to, you know, it's doable, something I'm comfortable with. Not, you know, and that's the spirit of the Lord, because we never supposed to be very comfortable, you know, but in terms of my job, you know, got seniority, and this could be happening with any other brother, you know, any other Akim. You know, you have a job that you've been laboring for, you know, putting a lot of work in for, time, you know, effort into, and they could just easily just take that, you know, that comfortability away and give it to somebody else, or give you a unjust reason of why they're doing it. Mind you, could be doing nothing wrong, okay? But it just reminds you that, you know, the scriptures, matter of fact, let me get it real quick. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. So we're supposed to be arising and departing from this place, because we realize everything here in America, everything here in this world is vanity. All right, you can, even if you're making have a six-figure job, there's always things you have to deal with. Politics, you got to deal with you just being a Hebrew Israelite in terms of being a so-called black man, okay, or being a so-called Hispanic man, but really the so-called black man, okay, because they never want to see us really, you know, all Israel, but they don't want to see us and, you know, in a better position. They want to see us work, have that sweat equity. They want us to, you know, overly stimulate us, you know, in all circumstances. All right. So we're truly being oppressed. All right. It says, arise ye and depart. So we're supposed to be departing our minds from this place, man, and just being single eye towards Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right. No matter what you do, you can't get around it. You know, even if you have your own business, there's always things that you got to, you know, deal with. You got to go to your enemy for the one or all things. All right, literally. So you have your own business, you still got to network, you still got to deal with, you know, these other nations. Okay, it says, for this is not your rest. This is not our rest. This is not where we, you know, we in a strange land. Okay, we not in the land of Jerusalem. All right, this is not a land where we're going to rest at. Okay, this is not a place where we're supposed to get comfortable at. That's why when we go back to Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, it goes into, it's better to be in a house of mourning than in a house of mirth. All right, so we're supposed to be in a house of mourning for Yahweh Shah to return, man, to redeem us, to save us. All right, for our kingdom, you know, to be established. Okay, so that's where we're going to have our true rest at. We're not going to be working 12, 14 hours a day. We're not going to be paying, after you get your taxes, 38% to the state and the feds. Okay, you're not gonna be getting tickets, you know, it's et cetera, et cetera. This is not our rest, man. Our woman gonna be in order. The world is gonna be in order. It says, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. Everything in the society is polluted. The air is polluted. The philosophies, all right, the way of living, the job structure, you know, the order here in this world is polluted. You know, you got people that play favoritism, you know, politics you got to deal with. All right, unrighteous decrees. All right, this place is polluted, man. All right, and that's just one part of it. So it said it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. So you don't get caught up in this place, man. You don't get caught up in a confusion, in the politics, in its pollution. All right. That's why you're supposed to put your mind more into the Lord, walk more in the Spirit. Which I always bring out. And I constantly, be reminded of these things daily. That's why I say, let me just do a quick lesson. Okay? So going back into Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7, it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Now, when you go into the word wise, all right, let's go into the word wise. The word wise meaning having the power of judging or discerning rightly. All right? When you go into the root word, it goes into see. All right? Widows. Okay? So having the power of judging or discerning rightly, and this is the Lord gave us that power of judgment, of judging or discerning rightly. So we see the things, the bullshit that we got to go through. We see it from far. Like, oh man, or they playing a politic game, or they're dealing unjustly. They gonna give me they giving me a bullshit excuse, thinking I'm just a stupid goddamn nigga. Because that's exactly what these corporations do. They tell you they'll do something unjustly and just give you a bullshit excuse. All right, but you see, the Lord gave us the wisdom, the power of judgment. He gave us the power, the power of discerning. Like, okay, you just want me to work harder, so I could profit your business more. Showing you that we still modern day slaves, man. This is modern day slavery. No matter how you put it in a court, if you have a blue collar job, a white collar job, it's always politics. It's always, especially if you're a Hebrew Israelite, if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, it's always the odds is always stacked against us. You constantly got to prove yourself. You constantly got to go out there and bust your ass. When you look at these other nations, they get it sweetly. They get the sweet routes. But there's no complaining. Okay? You still got to endure. This is a part of the sufferings that Yahweh Shah talks about. Because even in ancient times, you had people, Israelites who, were going through the same thing. Were being dealt unjustly, man, at work. Because you had a lot of Israelites, they had their own businesses. That's why I said they was trading. They had, merchandise they were selling. But at the end of the day, they had to give majority up their wages to the Roman. They was getting taxed heavily, and that's why the poor hated the tax collectors. So it's the same thing now. It's the same thing. We out here busting our ass, and being dealt unjustly at work. And then at the end of the week, you got to still, pay a heavy tax, and it's still out of order because we're supposed to be getting paid daily. Okay. So it says, and a gift destroyeth the heart. A gift destroyeth the heart. Meaning, even at your job, you might be getting a check, or a decent check, or your job might be giving you extra hours. Now it keeps you quiet. It destroys your discernment, because when it says heart, meaning your mind. Now you get complacent. Oh, my bosses ain't that bad, man. He give me the extra OT. A gift destroyeth the heart. That's right there. It's a pure example. They know how to, and that's what these corporations know how to, shut you up. Give them a little extra hours, man. Here, shut up. All right. Let me bring one more precept. Wisdom, grief. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Verse 18. So it says, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. And that's the truth. As much wisdom the Lord keeps increasing on us, it causes much grief. Because why? We understand that we're modern day slaves. We understand that we're being dealt unjustly, and we still got to deal with this day by day by day. And we understand that, you know, how far behind we are in society, how the so-called, you know, white man, how he basically implemented that wealth gap in the Jim Crow era, and how that set us back so far. So that's why we have to, you know, bust our ass, you know, and for shorts, for nothing, and just to still rent apartments, just still to, you know, rent, not own no houses, not own land. Okay, we're really laboring just to still to be poor. So with much wisdom causes much grief, because these are the things we understand. Even if we have our own business, you still got to go to the enemy for one of all things. You still got to deal with these people. You know, it's a such thing as you getting blacklisted, man. If you have your own business, all right. But the point is, you know, this is not our rest, and this is why we have to bank on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Okay, but with that, you know, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm still at work. I want to say shalom.